Hey good people, here I am again in my cold workshop, surrounded by the grime of work. Here you've got shipping boxes, below me is my tools and my bench, deep below me is my shelf of clamps and other tools. To my right is various materials, strings, bridges, all that kind of thing. It's an honest man's workshop here. There's no green screen, there's no glitz and glamour. I'm not sitting in front of a beautifully manicured space just crafted for eBay. I just film wherever I am, wherever I'm working, and I hope the sort of honest industrial appeal has some charm for you. We're living in an age where a lot of YouTube videos are rather over varnished, over polished, and a bit constructed, if you know what I mean. I really like the honest ones. I really like the blokes who work on guitars and they film in their space, and they're not bothered about the sheen and the varnish of the appeal of the video. It's the work, the subject matter that drives their following. So hopefully we can achieve some of that. Now this video, it has a provocative title, doesn't it? It's not intended to be political. Those of you who've been on my channel long enough might be able to deduce my political leanings from a few slips along the way over the years. But I tend to keep political matter away from this channel because it's not what you come here for. Not that I shy away from political debate or religious debate. I don't. I hold opinions and I think those things should be discussed, but in areas where people are willing to engage. I don't force them on people who come here for the guitar content. So this is not an indictment of the sponsor of this particular instrument. It's a look at the instrument purely as a market commodity. So I've seen quite a few videos crop up in the guitar community about the Trump guitars. When I first saw the first one, which I have to credit Guitar Max for, I thought it was a joke. I really did think it was a joke. We've all heard of Trump steaks, Trump vodka, Trump Airlines, Trump University, and they all sort of went the same way. So yeah, seeing someone who's about to step into the hot seat of power, you know, sort of putting his name on a guitar is sort of a weird decision. Or maybe it's not weird. Maybe it's just opportunist to the nth degree. However, what really I'm talking about on this video is the price of these things. The guitar, I'm not going to buy one. I am not going to buy one because the guitar, from what it seems like, at best reports, and there are a few now on eBay, the best reports are that it's equivalent to perhaps one of the lower end Fireflies, or perhaps one of the IYVs, or maybe even one of the lesser, not the Monsoon model, but maybe the lesser Leo James, one of those types of guitars, which are what, $250, $300, same in pounds. So this guitar is around $1,100 unsigned, and what, somewhere around 5 to 10 grand if signed by the man himself. Now there's no other way to convey this other than to use the word extortionate. I just think that is obscene. Bit of capitalism, sort of on steroids, if you like. There's no way in hell that guitar is worth the equivalent of what you could get on the guitar market for $1,100-$1,200. Think about what you can buy for that amount of money. You could get pretty well into the Fender and Gibson range, the PRS range, the Jackson, upper end Jackson, Charvel even. If I were to give you a check for $1,100-$1,200 right now and instruct you to go get the best guitar In fact, put it in the comments below. What can £1,200 buy you? What can $1,200 buy you? And would you prefer to have that than a Trump guitar? Just put that in the comments below. So that's the first thing. I won't even touch the signed one. How somebody's signature can be worth, an extra 7 or 8 grand, no matter who they are. Something that irks me. I don't like celebrity cult culture and cult status here on this channel. I don't think much of it. And of course, the value of somebody who's alive and still in the public sphere has yet to be determined. I mean, history will judge Mr. Trump and let us know whether his signature in future generations is worth a lot of money or will devalue depending on his deeds and actions and performance in his second term. So that's a gamble. That's a real gamble to buy the signed ones. Now, I've heard people say it's a niche, fetishist sort of collector's market item. It should be judged that way and not as a functioning guitar. And that's probably the best argument for it, isn't it? It's a bit of kitsch, isn't it? And if you're going to hang it on your wall and he's your thing, then, who can tell you that you're wrong? Who can tell you not to? There are things put on people's walls or things that people collect that will confuse me forever. So there's no point in me getting irate if that's why you're buying it. Those who are buying to resell, hoping that it will gain value over the years, since it is a limited edition item, gamble. But I suppose if you've got the money and you're willing to lose it, or break even, or lose a percentage of it, that's also your business. It's prospecting, isn't it? And maybe you'll do well or not so well. But beyond those two arguments, I think it's a bit of lunacy myself. There are a couple of people who bought the guitar to review them on their channels. I've watched 3 or 4 of them. Sort of like it's the same, morose curiosity that you have when you see a traffic accident. You can't look away. It's one of those things. You're repulsed by it, but you got to see a review and see what people are saying, particularly those who are, have obvious skill at taking guitars apart and sort of valuing their separate parts and reviewing and determining, the quality of a guitar. There's a few channels out there that do a good job at that, with capacitors and measuring the parts and, giving you breakdowns of the pickups and all that sort of thing. There's, them, you know who they are. There's some good ones. So it is interesting to see, what possibly a guitar price like this, being unmarked, having no certificate of provenance for a collector's guitar, having no origin indication anywhere on the guitar by all accounts, except for the pickups, which are marked made in India. So a couple of reviewers have surmised that this is possibly an Indian-made guitar. Others are pretty convinced it's Chinese or worse. Singaporean, Malaysian, you name it. Not to say those countries are worse, but the standard of manufacturing, perhaps. It's subjective. But anyway, it's a curious thing, isn't it? And I certainly won't be getting one unless somebody sends me one. I'm certainly not going to buy one and pay that amount of money, because by all reports, they're either just as good as one of the budget imported guitars that I mentioned, or they're absolute trash. And a few people who bought them because of who they represent had to admit, yes, I like the idea, I like the marketing, I like the audacity of the project, but I have to say it's not a very good guitar. And you appreciate their honesty for not building it up when they wanted it to be, a great instrument and worthy of its price, or somewhere near its price. But to me, it sounds like a bit of a scam. And just by looking at it, the sheer appearance and the filming of this guitar, the interior, the fact that when these reviewers have looked inside, you don't even get the high-end parts and wiring, pickup cavity shielding, any of that stuff. It looks like a Licks Pro on the inside. It looks like a 100-200 pound guitar on the inside. The guts are not up to the price of the guitar. Now, you probably get it playing, you probably mod it, but why would you? Why would you buy something at that price and mod it and put more money into it? I suppose there will be a few, and we can all probably think of the names. There are probably a few celebrity musicians that might seek to, take advantage of this with their stage presence and band marketing. I won't get into who they are, but the inauguration's coming up. You'll probably see them in the next few days. The types of people that may want to have a Trump guitar on stage. Obviously, to make it gig worthy, it's going to need some attention, some money. And if you've already put that amount in, I don't know why you would want to put in another 200, 300, 500 to make it gig worthy. But there may be some people that might want to do that have silly money to throw away. So I'm speaking from the vantage point of a working class person who has some sense of value and proportion. And I would say that's probably 90% of my viewership on this channel. And for me, it's just a no-go. It's an absolute no-go. There's no chance that I would buy a guitar at that price or even half that price. If they ever float around on the used market for £300, £400, £5, if it just absolutely tanks and loses its value, I still probably wouldn't buy it. I mean, I might, if it got down to Licks Pro price, I might be tempted, but probably not, to be honest with you. But anyway, just wondering what you're making of all this. There seems to be a few videos that have cropped up, and it's obviously not a joke. And I'm not sure what's going on with the legality. I heard they got sued by Gibson and somehow fought that off to be able to put the production run out into the market. Or I don't know if they're suspended at the moment and they're not selling. They just sold the initial few, which again might be part of your value argument. If they didn't even get to put the whole run out before they were sent the C&D letter from Gibson. So yeah, I'm not sure of the legalities of this thing either. It's always, to me, murky waters, because I see lots and lots of Gibson-shaped guitars on the market, and Gibson seems to go after some of them but not others. Not sure how that works. Maybe you can give me some insight in the comments below. But anyway, this is not a Trump guitar. But this guitar here is going to be, when it's fixed up, let's say £100 guitar. It might actually be worth about the same amount as one of those, or at least half the amount of one of those, depending on how good it really is. Not for me. You won't see it on this channel unless somebody sends me one to review for you. And of course, that would always be an honest review. I don't accept instruments ever and be told what to say. And any of these guitars that you've seen in videos reaching back now for 2 or 3, 4 years, I think I've only had 1 or 2 guitars on this channel that were sent to me for review, and that was under the guide that I will be honest. You can't govern what I say about a guitar. If you believe in your product and you want to send it to me, fair enough, but you're not going to tell me what to say. You're not going to tell me how to evaluate it. This channel will remain honest. There's the background behind me. All right, folks. No Trumpo here, but interesting development nonetheless, worth speaking about. We'll see what becomes of this particular guitar on the market if it survives the legal questioning. All right, folks. See you on the next one.